Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be looking at r/best of Redditor updates, and in this one, a husband makes a rather large misstep and suffers the consequences by the looks of it. So if that sounds like something you would be willing to unpack with me today, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Thank you. Okay, so settle in and get comfortable because this one looks like it could be quite a lengthy one today. This one was shared to the subreddit by Direct Caterpillar 77, and the title is Told My Wife, F35, that she couldn't do it without me, M34. Turns out she can. Love it already. So obviously, Direct Caterpillar is not the original poster. The original poster is on the screen and where it was originally posted, which was r/am I wrong, r/relationship advice. And there is a trigger warning for spousal neglect and deadbeat parents, so just be aware of that if that is something that you are kind of sensitive to. So it was originally posted January 17th, 2024. My wife and I don't fight much, and when we do fight, we usually communicate well afterwards, and things go back to normal. I brag to my friends about how reasonable my wife is, and her ability to communicate and empathise is something I deeply admire. She doesn't hold grudges, she talks me through my rough times, until now. Due to a fire, my wife is out of work, but still earning her salary, thanks insurance. We decided she would stay home with our young son while out of work. She doesn't love child rearing, which is something we knew going into having kids. Honestly, it's hard to tell. She's a great mum, present and loving. When I can see she's struggling inside, I give my wife a lot of breaks. We co-parent, split bedtime routines for our two kids, we both pull our weight. What do you mean that you knew she didn't love child rearing before having kids? Like, if you knew you don't like it, why would you have kids? That sounds really odd to me. I don't know, maybe that's just like worded in a weird way. Anyone else think that that's a bit odd? Like, because obviously I do understand though, like, it's quite easy to say, oh my goodness, I am not a fan of child rearing when you're already in the thick of it, because most of the time you have no idea how it's going to be, because society really flowers it up and makes it sound like, oh, it's so lovely, it's all just playing with little lovely kids and blah blah blah, and like 90% of the time it's cleaning up poo and dealing with tantrums actually. So yeah, I could totally get if he was like, oh, she doesn't love it now they have kids, but well, that's a bit odd to know that and then have kids. I don't know. I think I'm getting stuck on that a bit too much, but let's continue. Yesterday was a snowy day. My daughter was home with my wife and son. I was working from home downstairs all day. I helped my daughter with cyber school until noon. My wife was with my son in the snow all morning, ploughing the drive and sidewalks, etc., maintaining the house. My daughter joined them, and from the sound of things and some videos, she brought her friends over for playing and hot chocolate. I worked until around 5, and when I went upstairs, it was chaos. My wife was doing laundry and helping my daughter who fell and hurt herself on the ice. She sent home the friends and we had dinner. I did the cleanup, and right after finishing, keep in mind I've been downstairs working all day, not even a bathroom break afternoon, I go into the playroom and my wife approaches me. It goes like this. Her, hey, can I go lay down for a bit? The maybe offence, I admit, I made a face and said, me. I haven't gone to the bathroom all day and I put cookies in the oven. Oh, mate. You literally said she's been maintaining the house, dealing with kids, dealing with friends of her kids, and you came up and it was pure chaos. And then you say that? No. I can tell I messed up just by the face she gives me. Her. Fine, never mind, forget I asked. Heaven forbid. Now I'm sensing some attitude and I know I've misstepped here, so I say, no, it's fine, I'll take care of it all, go take a break. To my complete shock, in front of our kids who I admit aren't paying as much attention, but are still close, my wife says, I said, never effing mind. I've been running around on my feet all day watching our kids and other people's kids, and heaven effing forbid I ask for 20 minutes to myself. Oh, she is overwhelmed. You can tell she's just snapped because she's overwhelmed. I again say, go take a break. I told you it was fine. But she's clearly lost her marbles and is seeing red. She starts cleaning up and helping with the kids, and I do too. I tried to overcompensate, but she just took over caring for them and they listened to her. In the hall, I said, I think you forget I work all day. Why are you doubling down? Why are you doubling down right now? And she viciously says, thanks for reminding me. I almost forgot. Yeah, when someone's overwhelmed, like coming in with your own what about me-isms is probably a really bad thing to do. Just give her space. I think that's what she needs, a bit of space. I feel like an ass. I get that she works hard caring for the kids, but I work hard too. I think not having her job and escape is making her reaction to this fight worse. Yeah, bingo. She texted me the next day with her usual communication. She expressed how upset she felt with my behaviour and the way I acted toward her. She said she was feeding and taking care of 6 kids all day in the snow alone and still cleaned the entire house and deep cleaned our craft room. I explained that I am stressed at work and that I didn't get why she's so upset since I offered her a break. Why are you making this a competition? You're doubling down and you really just let it go. Just let her express that she's stressed. Goodness. She said, I don't want your pity breaks. And she ended it with, thanks for the apology, by the way, which, yeah, I didn't exactly apologise, but for what? And then she asked me for the number to my daughter's piano teacher. The piano teacher was the only activity that I managed for my kids. I found out that she texted her asking to go through my wife from now on, as she will be managing the schedule. Normally, my wife would text me asking me if I can get my daughter from dance on my way home yesterday. I do this every week. I didn't hear anything, and when I got home, I found out my wife had dropped and picked her up. I confronted my wife with, I am very present with my children. Do not make me out to be an absent father. My wife responded, if I didn't manage and ask you for help, you'd see them a quarter of the time you do now, and I'm done managing you. Yeah, exactly. You literally just said that she would ask you to pick her up. You don't just do it. You don't just text her like, oh, don't worry, I'll pick her up. Why is she having to tell you, a grown man, what to do and where to be? I get it. I should have just smiled and agreed when she asked for the help, but this is extreme. She's having a fit and trying to ice me out of my relationship with my kids. It's so petty. It's like I don't even know this woman. Gone is the reasonable, level-headed communicator. So, if you've made it this far, thank you. And please tell me if I'm wrong here. Okay, let me give you a little run through of what I'm getting from reading between the lines here. And you can tell me if you think I'm right or if you think I'm wrong. And we'll also find out because there is a lot more of this to go through. But for what I'm getting, so the hint at the start was that the OP's wife didn't have that much of an interest in having kids. Feels like maybe the OP was the one more interested in having kids and she went along with it. Then, obviously, we get the impression that the OP knows already that the wife, she's lost a job, basically. She's relying on insurance to keep the income. She has no escape from the house anymore. She has nothing of her own. She is overwhelmed looking after these kids, and she is the one running the household. Then she is also having to tell this grown man where to be and, you know, what he needs to do for his kids. And like she said, if she doesn't organize where he's to be or what time he spends with the kids, he wouldn't really spend half as much time with them. So basically, she is having to baby the grown man too. That's how I'm reading it. And the OP has just let it go whoosh all over his head, all over the top of his head. And then when she finally snaps and says, I can't do this anymore, his response is, but what about me? Like, dude. Okay, anyway, let's continue. I don't know if you guys will agree with that, but yeah, I think he's messed up a bit there. I really do. I think he's thinking too much about himself and not enough about how everything is affecting his wife. So, relevant comments. OOP on being told his wife is stressed. Thanks for the response. Her reaction is so out of left field. She really is usually the most reasonable person I know. It's been stressful for her, and I admit I'm also so stressed at my job that I didn't see it. I figured a few months off paid would be a luxury. How is it a luxury when you're having to then just slave away after kids? That is no luxury. But yeah, now I am seeing having 6 kids and a toddler alone all day might be as luxurious as a barrel of hair. Guess it's my turn to be the empathetic, reasonable one. She's done it enough for the both of us. I'm glad you are catching up. OOP on being told to take the initiative and give the wife a break. You are 100% right. I normally do say that. She asks me for a break at least 3 times a week to take a bath or go read, and I almost always immediately say yes. It was just an off moment, and I know I reacted poorly.
Editing me here to waffle for a second, because I think it's also important to acknowledge that yes, OP could easily have an off day as well. You know, his wife was obviously having an off day and was very stressed, but I think that had been building up for a long time because of the uneven distribution of responsibilities. So yeah, OP can absolutely have an off day and, you know, probably react badly to being asked for help, but obviously it was already a problem.
It was just an off moment. And I know I reacted poorly, but she's completely trying to ice me out. I had to argue with her this morning just to let me take my kid to school because she said she'd do it. And the kids just went along, clinging to her, and then when I pushed back, my kid started crying for her. She had to calm him down and insist going with Dad is fun, just to undo what she did. He was fine with going with me, but it's messy and so unnecessary. I am scared with her behaviour. I love my wife and I don't want to push her away. OOP on his wife's schedule. My wife has 2 days during the week without my son or daughter. She's been painting the house and deep cleaning. My son is gone from 8 to 2 and my daughter 9 to 3, Monday and Friday both. I think the snow day broke her, but hopefully she'll come around and be sensible. I've never known her to ice me out or to stop communicating, and it's freaking me out. It's a little bit why I think there is more to this fight. I think that she's been asking for your help for a while and you've been ignoring her and she's reached breaking point. That's how I'm reading it. I might be wrong, but that's how I see it. So, January 26th, 2024, we have a update. I made one stupid selfish comment to my wife a week or so ago, and now my life is in disarray. My wife is in some crisis. Her work is closed and she's being paid, but she's home with our kids now, including one 3-year-old. She gets breaks on Monday and Friday with childcare. We went into having kids knowing she wanted to be a working mother, so this has been an adjustment, to say the least. On to the OG fight. She spent a long day with our kids and the neighbouring kids. And when I came upstairs from work and she asked for a break, I didn't respond well. I made excuses and didn't offer help, and for the first time in years, my wife lost her temper and cursed at me. Like an idiot, I dug in and thought I was right. I admit we both said some unkind things, but after Reddit humbled me and she made me sit down and write a list of things I did for the family that day and compared it with her longer list, I apologised. She accepted and I figured things would go back to normal. They haven't. My wife used to include me in parenting our kids. I did dance pick-up most weeks and bedtime was split. I gave baths, made dinner, all the stuff. Since our fight, my wife hasn't asked me for any help with the kids. The first morning I woke up on what was supposed to be my morning with the kids, I figured she was just being nice or trying to prove a point, but it keeps happening. She didn't even send them down to say goodnight last night. Normally my wife does this silly game where she sends my son to ask me to read 5 books and then we would negotiate down to 1 or 2 and race upstairs. Last night I heard her racing him and came up to find her doing bedtime yet again. The kids haven't even noticed. It's like she's replacing me. If the kids haven't noticed, I have something to tell you, my friend, that I don't think you're gonna like. If the kids haven't noticed, you probably weren't spending anywhere near as much time with them in the first place as you thought you did. When we were fighting, I said something really dumb that's living inside me and festering. My wife was being nasty and said, "You wouldn't see the kids a quarter as much as you do if I didn't arrange it and I'm done managing you." I defended myself. I'm not an absent parent, and said something along the lines of, "I'd like to see how long you can manage without me." You missed that out the first post. No wonder she's icing you out. Consider my foot officially in my mouth. She started running again. She's cooking really healthy and often. Every night I come home to my perfectly happy Stepford wife doing it all without me, and I feel empty inside. How do I fix this? I don't even know where to begin. At this point, I want to beg her to go back to how things were. This wasn't what we agreed on. It almost feels like she's preparing herself to be a single parent. Like she's learning to do it all by herself and cope with it all in case she decides that she's just done with him. Like, yikes. Relevant comments, usually right to says, I don't know, step up, get involved without her organising it or instructing you. Are you really this daft? Yeah, exactly, because she said that she doesn't like that she has to manage you. So seeing that she's doing all these things, you're just allowing her to, rather than going, no, actually, I've got this. I'm doing this. I'm picking up on this day. Like, you're proving her point by not going, no, I want to do this. And saying that you're doing it and telling her that you're doing it. So without her having to ask. OOP. It's difficult when they prefer her and she seems to do everything better than me. I work often as well. It helps to have her give me a heads up on the plan with the kids, but I'm getting now that maybe that's done and over with. So then Lady Clepsydra? Yep, that was perfect. But he doesn't know what to do. If she doesn't send the kids to him with an instruction of what books and how many are to be read, how is he supposed to know what to do? With little cryy faces as well. I like that addition. OP, this wasn't a silly game. That was a woman noticing that you were never going to just go and read your own kids a book. So she made it into a game for the child. So the child doesn't have to watch his mum come over to dad and say, please read him a book for the love of God, please. Bingo. Because that would give the kid an inkling that you are not doing it out of your own free will. And if not instructed, you would not do it ever. And that could be upsetting. And then the OOP says, okay, I admit, this hit me hard. Man, do you really think that's what the game is? I hate that that makes sense to me. I think that's what the game is. Because she doesn't want to be like, yeah, your father's a bit crap, so I'm going to have to go and ask him. And like, then make the kids look at you in a different light, you know? So it's like, yeah, she's made it into this little game trying to protect you and the way the kids view you. And what have you done? Appreciated zilch. OOP once again told to do more. I am effing confused, okay? I had this perfect life with an amazing, successful wife and a great job. We juggled 2 careers and 2 kids like champions. Always communicating who is where, doing what activity, working together to manage the American dream of doing it all. But she was the one managing you, mate. You weren't working together, were you? Clearly. Then my wife's job burns down and she's home all the time doing everything. She gets stressed and we fight, and now she's totally different. I don't give a F about warm meals and a Stepford wife. I want my wife, my partner, my teammate, and yes, my effing manager back. She was amazing. And now I managed to F it up like always by sticking my foot in my mouth. She's still perfect, only now I know she's not doing what she wants and that I have failed her in some way that seems to have broken her. Or maybe fixed her. I don't know. Like I said, I'm confused and apparently an idiot. Yeah, and I really hate that you said, and yes, my effing manager back. I hate that so much. That's what got you in this position in the first place, my love. Like, no, she doesn't want to be your manager. She wants a husband and a partner. She doesn't want to have to tell a grown man how to look after his own kids. When you read between the lines of everything the OP has said, I'm just seeing a woman that is burnt out, had enough, is sick of having a partner that she doesn't feel has her back on anything and that she feels she has to like again, manage. And it makes sense to me why she's just gone, F it all. I do get it. So OOP, when asked if maybe his wife wants an equal partner, you won't believe me anyways, I've been with my wife since we were kids, 15 to 16. I know this woman. She loved doing it all, and she was amazing at it. She always bragged about being a working mum, but never put down women that stayed home. Her mother was a stay-at-home mum that got married super young. My wife didn't want that life. We used to joke about her earning more than me so I could stay home. She never complained about the kids' schedules either. She did drop-offs at daycare and I did pickups. We had a rhythm and a flow with them made her soak in the time at night more than maybe I did. I don't know, but I honestly think she was happy. Yeah, she was clearly very happy. OOP again explains his wife's work schedule. My wife works with animals and makes her own schedule. She can schedule days off whenever, so she is more flexible. She is home to take the kids into daycare, and then I would pick them up and drop them at my mum's, and my wife would get them around 4. She does not need to work. I pay the majority of the bills. My wife's job earns less, but that doesn't make it less worthy. She actually affects the world. I just type at the computer all day and deal with air emissions. My wife works to pay for daycare. It's her big expense. I do mortgage and everything else. She also uses her money to buy stuff. She has full access to my account and often transfers money when low. I do not have access to her account. It's a personal boundary of my wife's that she always have her own private money. I don't need or want that myself, so she manages most of the finances. My wife has traumas around being stuck as a homemaker and a baby maker, and now what's she having to do? No wonder she's stressed. This is like a little game of unpicking with every little paragraph that the OP writes. Like, we're unpicking further and further into what the OP's clearly been trying to ignore. So OOP adds edits to post. Edit, F guys, I get it. I'm a piece of crap. I'm going to make this right. Edit 2. Thank you to the handful of people that reached out with advice. Believe it or not, I do want to be a good father and husband. I've royally effed up and I see that and I fully admit it. This is going to be my only edit, and then I'm going to get off my phone for a while and focus my attention on my family. My wife had dinner cooked when I got home. Everything is fine between us, so there wasn't any tension. After we cleaned up, I went upstairs and ran my wife a bath, put Taylor Swift on her Alexa, and lit a few candles. I told her to go relax upstairs for the night. She was surprised but smiled and went on her way. I'm currently on the toilet watching my kids take a bath. People mentioned love bombing, etc., but I'm just trying anything I can to show her I do appreciate and love her, and our family, and I want to be a present father. I'm going to do bedtime tonight and probably all next week. I tell her that she does so much during the day and deserves the break because it's the truth. I get that I come off as an a-hole. I grew up in a not great situation and I didn't have the best role models growing up. I'm terrified of my children not having enough, and I overcompensate by working too much. This new job came with a big pay increase, but the hours are longer and I feel like I can never keep up. I've reached out to a few recruiters tonight. I used to love my job and was always home by 4:30. Even if it means taking the lost income, I'm thinking about going back. Relationships are hard and humans aren't perfect. For all the people telling me my kids don't love me and I'm a waste of space, I don't know, guys. Just remember I'm an actual person. That crap's rough. Anyways, that's all I have for you folks. I need to watch these kiddos and start planning out my long road of grovelling and reconnecting. That's all. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that you're an absolute waste of space. Like, clearly you are doing things for your family, you're providing and stuff. I just think you've taken it for granted a bit too much, and like, you need to open your eyes a bit. OOP added comments after the borrow was posted. Comment 1. Back on after a while and I see this comment right away. Thanks for asking. The update is slow moving. My wife and I had a few nights of talking and crying that have helped make us stronger. I know everyone hates me, but I do love my wife, and had she ever expressed an unequal workload before this fight, I would have put that effort into learning about it and fixing it. As it stands, we agreed to therapy. My wife's feeling like her reaction to our fight was out of her norm and wants to start her own therapy to help. I fully support that. I also do weekly therapy and find it helpful. Boy, was this week fun for my therapist. Anyways, I looked deep into weaponized incompetence and unequal mental workloads and have come to realize I'm essentially another head to manage for my wife. We agreed to be partners in this life, and somewhere along the line, I lost that thread. She still claims she wants to manage our schedules, but I don't want to be that husband or father. I have always thought my wife was amazing and looked up to her. What would wife's names do? Is my motto. I want to be more like her, so I need to learn how to manage myself and my time and my kids' time without her help. I've asked to take on the parenting responsibilities 100%. I didn't realise she needed to do so much crap. It's been eye-opening. I don't know how long we will keep this up either. My wife isn't the biggest fan of handing over the reins. That's a really good idea, to just completely swap the role there and make the OP do the 100% to see just how full on it is. That's such a good idea. I love that. Reddit has lit a fire under my butt. I can tell, and I'm really glad. Having so many outside people looking into this situation and simultaneously getting the ick from me has been humbling. Comment 2. I think I'm going to go with what my wife and I decided in terms of deciding what's realistic or sincere. I wanted to see what it felt like to be 100% in control of everyone's schedules and making sure to take care of it. It's incredibly difficult to constantly be reminding myself of the time and who needs what and when, but it's also been humbling and rewarding. We both know it won't last forever, and we will get back to finding our new healthy medium. Things won't go back to before, and they won't stay like this forever. But for now, I'm taking over doctors and school duty, and when we sign my son up for kindergarten next year, I'll be doing all the work for that and making sure I'm fully involved in the things I missed with my daughter. I'm going to be a better dad, and that's just final. That's so cute. I'm so glad. I'm losing my voice. Oh my god. New update. OOP updated in the original post, February 18th, 2024. Update. It's been a minute since I bothered with Reddit, but when I logged in, it seems some people care for an update. It's not exciting. I've taken a lot of time to really look at the man I've become. My wife and I are 100% back to being a team, but I've realised I wasn't stepping up the way I've always wanted to. I promised my wife a partnership, and even though it's been a month or so since our fight and my wife keeps asking me to forget it happened, I can't. My therapist is helping me sort through my overthinking. My wife started therapy because of the stress losing her work temporarily and staying home has caused. Her issues appear to stem from feeling useless without bringing in a paycheck and was taking on too many tasks at home to overcompensate. She doesn't feel like she deserves breaks, and when she takes them, she feels awful about herself and like she's lazy. I think that's just like a parent thing, but especially a mum thing, because I know for me, I like daily will tell myself how much of a lazy piece of shite I am because I've sat down. Coming from the least lazy person I know, I can tell you she's struggling, and I've been supporting her the best I can. I often make sure she knows I think she deserves breaks, so when I see her hyperfixating on cleaning the floorboards, I intervene gently by reminding her that this doesn't need doing right now, but that I will finish it for her while she does me a favour and takes a little break. Sometimes it works, and other times she tells me to stop fussing and leave her to work, and I do. It's been working well, and I don't mind the extra work for the peace of mind it offers me. My wife is my everything, and her happiness is paramount. My kids are mostly clueless to all this. We don't involve them, and I must say I made a throwaway comment about my wife not loving child rearing and received a lot of nasty comments about not having kids we don't want. I'm weary to dignify this with a response, but will say that what I meant was that we agreed before having children that my wife would not be the sole support system for them, and that she would never feel obligated to quit working. Okay, that makes sense. You could have worded it better, my love. My wife is fiercely independent due to her past, and a big part of her comfort in our relationship comes from having the ability to leave it safely if she ever needed to. That trauma is hers, and I won't touch more on it other than to say that I agreed to this aspect before we married and do not mind it. She should be an independent person. I'd want the same for my kids. So, that's basically it. I'm taking on the role as primary parent. I get my kids to daycare, school, and home, and while my wife helps half the time, it's now my responsibility to see who's doing what and coordinate things. I can't do it all in my head like her, but I have a chart that's been helping. She rebelled at first, but gave up the reins surprisingly easily. She needed it. She so needed that. She needed a break, she did. I also put my son back in full-time daycare, although my wife keeps springing him early. I can tell that she likes the break. That's all I have for now. Thanks, guys, and sorry it's not more dramatic. I know some of you wanted my balls and were hopeful my wife would leave me. Well, I would be lost without her, and the thought makes me physically ill. It's nice to see people appreciating my wife the way she deserves and stand up for her so fiercely. Thanks all. One last thing, I brought her this game, Pal World, on the computer. She hasn't gamed since having kids because of some preconceived conclusion that it made her a bad parent, but I insisted she spend a few hours, and since I'd spent money, she did. I find her playing a lot to wind down when the day is over. It seems to be helping her feel more herself. So, thanks video games. I'll stand for a lot of assumptions on my character, and boy have there been some nasty ones. But one thing I won't take is people saying I don't love my wife. She's my person, and it is my duty in life to make her happy. Oh, that's so cute. Zebra2001 says, I had a co-worker once tell me his wife wasn't letting him teach his son basketball. I asked how can she possibly stop him. He said something to the effect of her not getting the kid ready or making the time to go to the court or getting the kid's shoes. Wow. His mind was blown when I pointed out his dumbass could take his son to get all of this crap. You're acting like a man's man here, and you're sending your wife who has never played to pick out basketball equipment for your firstborn son. He acted like I was being ridiculous. And then LaDancer22 says, she didn't tell me to pick up my daughter from the activity I pick her up from at the exact same time and place every week. She's literally keeping my children from me. Honestly, yeah. Although, do you know what? Like I say, they at first didn't get what they were doing and how they were in the wrong, but they took the time. They even got therapy, for crying out loud. So you got to give the props for that. And he figured it out in the end, bless him, and I'm so glad, and I hope they have a very happy relationship. Okay, so I think that's all we've got time for today. My voice is disappearing at the rate of knots, so it's definitely time for me to pack it up and go to bed, I think. So if you made it all the way to the end with me, then I appreciate you very, very much. If you give a little like, subscribe, turn your notifications on, that is your initiation into the cult of void. Welcome! Whatever it is you're doing for the rest of the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Goodbye!